That's it. All right, cool. So everybody has the ability to unmute whenever your heart desires. We'll start with the dollar index today. I had some people message me on the side and say they want to kind of talk a little more about Forex. So we're going to do exactly that. So we'll start here and then we'll make our way back over to pocket option. This is exactly where you should start anyway, because it's important that you understand the overall strength and weakness in the market. You'll realize a lot of people start with the DXY. And I used to be like, why? Like why do people start marking up their charts with the DXY if you can't necessarily trade it per se? And they do that because they want to be able to identify where's the strength and weakness in the market, and where their focus should be going into the particular week. So you want to take a picture of this as well. So when you go to the DXY, you're simply just looking for strength and weakness. So I kind of marked it up a couple days ago, but I will clear that out and I will mark it up for y'all real quick. But long story short, if the dollar is strong, so if you came over here and you identified overall the dollar was going to be heading up strong, then when you go and look at, like, for example, a Euro USD, you'll end up selling Euro USD, because if the dollar is strong, that means the other currency is weak. And with the other currency being on the front runner, if you will, as far as the beginning, as far as Euro USD, you would be selling that. It's in another example, if you were looking at a currency like USD JPY and there was dollar strength, right, then you would begin to see buys for USD JPY, because again, the dominant currency pair is what was strong at that particular time, right? And then inverse for the weakness aspect. So we start here. I'll move this over because we already know what that's talking about. So we'll start here. We're in a very interesting area. As you can see, I marked this off a couple of days ago, and we got some major levels that we're actually sitting at right now. But let me go ahead and actually just start from nothing. And let's start from nothing. All right. So starting from nothing, I would do daily 4 hour, 1 hour. So on the daily time frame, they've been having a hard time really trying to find what the trend is. And if you've been trading Forex, or if you've been trading Forex pairs on your binary chart, you'll notice that there's been a lot of consolidation really over this last, couple of months. So let me go ahead and identify important levels. It's as simple as looking for key levels above and below where price is right now. Let me move this right here. So price at 92.150. Let's find some areas that I consider to be key. So I'm gonna go ahead and find me 2 areas above or below price. Let me just drop some lines right here real quick, and then we'll play around. So price is right here. I would put the first one like right there. Okay, and then I would box this up right about there. And again, the price point that you put your support and resistance at is not relevant. It's not always going to be spot on. The point is to identify areas that you see price revisiting multiple times. Like, for example, let me get the little paint thingy. So it was easy to draw this area because I saw this plan as support. We've got some resistance right here. And again, if you're new, support is when you're looking at the floor of the market, and resistance is when you're looking at the ceiling. So if I kind of scroll in a little more, right, we see there was some support right there. We see we had some resistance right here. We have some support right there as well, some resistance right there. So we understand that this area right here is something we can kind of consider a price reversal zone. On the top of that, we, as of late, as of Friday, we got some support right here in this area. Excuse me, some resistance right here in this area. Same as right there. Get this off of here real quick. Okay, so I'm not trying to make it too difficult. I want everybody to get in the habit of being able to identify what that looks like. And you'll notice, like, if you scroll in, you'll see a lot of reversal candlestick patterns that took place. Like right here, we see an engulfing candlestick. That was a sell-off right there, etc., etc. So let me get the circles out of here real quick. And then we'll go to the 4 hour and the 1 hour. And then I'm gonna go over some of the pairs I'm looking at for the week. And you're more than welcome to unmute at any point if you have a question or anything like that. So we know where we're at. So let's take a look at the 4 hour. This is a good opportunity where you see like the short-term and long-term trend. So let me put a trend line right there. So overall, long-term, we have been in somewhat of a seller's market. But if you take a look, we have spent a lot of time right here. So the trend lines are cool because what you can do is you can put the trend lines on top of the price reversal zones. And now that looks even more clean from a stance of, okay, if we really supposed to be selling this right here, then we would get a clean, let me kind of make that a little bigger. If we for real supposed to be selling this right here, we would more than likely get a clean break below this structure area right here. And you could probably even identify another little area that one can consider to be key. So we probably will be looking at something like this. Hold on, put the brush on there. Like a little break and retest, something like that. And then you probably will get another one up in this range somewhere. Again, it's not always going to be perfect, and continue down. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. So that is kind of what I'm looking at. All right. And yeah, I don't really need to go any further than that right now. So we're in a very, very key area right now. So this is good to understand. And this is good to understand that we're in a key area right now. So all we got to do is wait and see. If I go to Euro USD to kind of help you understand how the dollar correlates, you see that we had an overall down, but we had a short-term uptrend right here. We kind of had an overall up and short-term downtrend. Let me see if I can kind of bust this out for y'all. Yeah, okay. So I can kind of clean this up. Excuse the weak ass lobby music. I was trying to go to the little office area right here, but it wasn't available. All right, cool. So boom. This gets me excited looking at this engulfing candle on a daily and looking at how that just took place on Thursday. So I would put a horizontal line right there. I would box that up. And understanding that we are in a short-term downtrend. So the movement is all going to be contingent on what the dollar does. But I hope that kind of breaking this down a little bit, it'll help you understand, okay, here's why, there's particular pullbacks that are taking place. Yeah, so we were looking at overall up, a little short-term downtrend, found some support right here. I personally think we'll probably end up kind of breaking out of that, might come back and, hold on. All right, here we go. I think we might break out of that and come in, retest these highs right here. But let's see what y'all talking about in the chat. Absolutely. You seen the head and shoulders? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so let's see what we may be able to expect from the dollar or from the euro. So to put it simple, I just go to the daily and just look for price reversal zones on the daily. And then from the 4 hour, I just continue to draw. I continue to draw trend lines to help me identify what's the short-term and long-term trend. And then I'm looking for important candlestick patterns. So this is very important to me. You'll notice that for real, when I talk candlestick patterns, I really will only talk about engulfing candlesticks. I consider them to be the most important. And let me explain why in a second. Okay. So here's a good example of why. And here's exactly why I mark off the body, right? The body of the top and the body of the bottom. So if we take a look at this right here, let me kind of circle this so y'all know where I'm at. If we take a look at this right here, this is an engulfing candle for a sell, right? What does that mean? The purple candle engulfed the green candle, helping us understand that there were more sellers in this market at this particular time. When you get off of this call, one of the things that I want you to do is go on a 4 hour, 1 hour time frame and look for these candlesticks. And I want you to mark off the bottom of the body right there and the top of the body. Because here's what you're going to notice. You're going to notice that they're going to come back and retest particular areas. So they broke out of all this. I'll just kind of draw it and I'll just erase it on the back end. So they broke out of all of this and they come back and retested what area? They come back and retested the bottom line of that engulfing candle, right? And they sold off from there again, right? And they sold off from there again. And then you'll learn that that in some situations, you will have where the engulfing candle gets invalidated. And that's what I think is going to happen right here, where we're going to get this breakout right here, right? And they come back and retest the top of this line right here. And I think that we can continue up from there, right? So the engulfing candle is definitely going to be the homework, because when you start seeing that, you'll see, okay, this was a strong area. And all a strong area means that that's a bank level, right? Where it's some money sitting and they want to continue to go back and get that money. And you'll notice that those bank levels are, they're not always going to be exact like we talked about, but they might be around 00, 75, 25 or 50, right? So we see Right here, we were kind of close to like a 75 area, right? So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for Euro USD. Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay. Okay. All right. We back at it. All right. So I personally think that we're going to be headed up this week. So this what I'll be looking for. So we'll see if we get this break above this area right here. I won't put too many lines on there for you guys in case you want to just take pictures and kind of follow along. We were clearly heading down, and this was the last lower low, and we're at the same high right now. So that's why I'm thinking that we're going to go ahead and get this broken, come and retest right there and head on up at least back to about this area right here. So that's Euro USD. And then I really keep it simple from a Forex standpoint. I don't really look at too many pairs. That's just my style. Like I don't really do too much. I might do like a Euro USD. I might do like a USD JPY, and all depending on like if there's nothing going on, may look at some Canadian pairs. But for the most part, I really stay in my lane. I like odd USD because it moves all the time. Like you'll find movement during the New York session and the Asian session. So that's exciting for me. But same story, like I'm not even gonna do too much. 4 hour time frame, just looking for my engulfing candlesticks, right? We had an engulfing right here. We had some buys took place, right? Came back to a strong area of resistance. And and this is why I'm not just selling you a dream saying, hey, listen, when you get off of this call, I want you to mark up every engulfing candle you see because it will play as like a stop and go for you. Awesome. Here's what I mean by that. I take this engulfing right here, and that told me, all right, boom, we're gonna break and retest this line right here, and then we can continue on up, right? Where do we stop at though? The last engulfing candlestick. That's exciting, right? And then if I look to the left, what else is taking place right here? Another engulfing candlestick. So I know overall, with 1, 2 engulfing candlesticks from a sell standpoint, and we had one that took place right here, that simply means that this was a strong area in the past. Like if I go in the past, just probably, we got a little strong area right here as far back as 2020. And you see how they kissed on that, it kept moving. And then what else do you see right there? I can't make this up. And then what do you see right there? An engulfing candlestick. So what am I talking about right now? If you can find those candlestick patterns on any chart, then you'll be able to identify what's taking place, what took place and what's taking place right now, right? So bringing it back to where we're at right now, based on everything we just talked about, we kind of just have to wait. We kind of just have to wait and see how price plays out around these levels right here. It's another situation that was long-term sell, short-term buy. So this retest might be for a buy, at least up to like this level. And we probably will continue to head on down from there. But let's see. So that's what I'm looking at for odd USD, USD JPY. I marked some stuff up the other day. We're going to start from scratch real quick. And then I'm probably going to pull up the good old PO. All right. So it's the inverse. So it's an overall uptrend for the most part. And we are in a little short-term downtrend. And that's really what you want to do. You want to box the market up. So I recommend that you start like that, identify the main trend and then the secondary trend. And then let's take a look at what candles equate to reversal movements. And they're all over the chart. Sometimes they're like really small. So you want to train your eye to be able to see it on all time frames. Because you got to start here on 4 hour, 1 hour, etc. To where when it's time to start looking for some of the setups on a smaller time frame with pocket option, you know exactly what you're looking for, right? So we knew that was a strong area right there. Long engulfing candle took place, came up to this area right here. I put a line right there and take a look at the past. That is more than likely a relevant area. And you really want to do your back testing like before the market is open. I just wanted to kind of take you guys into my world real quick. I don't even do it on a daily. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you see that this is clearly a little relevant area right here. Let me get back to where we are supposed to be. I consider that to be relevant, and I consider that to be relevant. So it's as simple as higher time frame, 4 hour, daily, all depending on the movement on the time frame. Get the overall trend, get the secondary trend, identify the price reversal zones above and below those candlesticks. Excuse me, above or below and below the current price point using some of the price reversal zone candlesticks. So a lot of the pairs are really kind of just putting us in a place where we're kind of just sitting on our hands right now. A lot of this stuff will probably really break out to where it's supposed to during London session. So what that looks like is probably, maybe like 2 a.m. Eastern. But let's see. If you ask me, I think we might get this right here. Come back to that area right there and get this at least to this area right here. All right. So let's see if there's any news as far as anything else that we might look at. But I'm about to move it back over to pocket option. So I just went to Forex Factory. It's important that y'all know how to use this as well. Like, binary is Forex. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I know it's a lot of people in the group that say, hey, I don't do Forex, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. If you trade in binary, you trade in Forex, especially if you're trading during the normal Forex hours, then that's when the market is the same. So you want to know what's taking place. You don't want to say, hey, the broker spiked me out, but in reality, it was a major news event for the euro, or a major news event for the Canadian dollar, or whatever that might look like. So ain't shit popping today. You normally want to look for like red folders for high impact news. Yeah, ain't shit popping today. They ain't talking about nothing. So tomorrow, nothing for real. Okay, Tuesday. So Tuesday, there's high impact news with the US dollar. And normally what news does is it just accelerates whatever the move is. So here's what I mean by that. So if I go back to the DXY, and I'm telling you that we for real waiting for this area to break and retest and head on down if that's what they really want to do. And now you got to put into perspective, this is good. You have to put into perspective, like, I'm not just trading to make money. Like I'm trading against these dudes. So like I have to be aware of what all is taking place. If I'm a market maker, or if I'm somebody that's a bigwig, etc., and I want to make some money, then here's what we're gonna go ahead and do. We're gonna go ahead and say, hey, listen, so and so is speaking today, or there's a particular news release, right? And then as a result of the propaganda, if you will, from that release, then we can go over here and say, go ahead and sell this market. Right. And I'm sharing this with you so you can remove any victim aspect that comes from a lot of the volatility that takes place in the market. And that's why oftentimes, like I say, you can't really trip about market manipulation. Like it happens in the market period. We're retail traders trading on phones and laptops. You feel what I'm saying? They don't want you to make the kind of money that they're making. So yeah, there will be a certain level of manipulation from both sides, from a Forex and a buying. Right? So yeah, you want to keep a lookout on USD for 8:30 in the morning Eastern. And you also want to take a look at NZD if that's pairs that you trade at 10 p.m. Eastern as well. Oh yeah, let me kind of give y'all some game on that real quick. Because like I know there's some people that may want to trade particular pairs at particular times and you don't really know what's what or whatever. You may not be familiar with the sessions as you would like to be, whatever the case may be. Here's the deal. Pairs that have GBP in it, you want to trade those pairs in the nighttime. You want to trade those pairs, from like midnight Eastern to like 6 a.m. Eastern. The pairs that have, NZD, Australian dollar, you want to look at those pairs in the evening. Like if you're somebody that you may work a full-time situation, then you might get excited about AUD USD. You might get excited about NZD USD, right? Because you'll notice that during that hour is when those markets are open, right? We got to remember, we can't think like victims. We got to think like players in this space. During that time, we know that those markets are open. So that's why at 10 p.m. Eastern, right, the NZD can have red folder news, because that is when that market is going and flowing at that particular time. As far as the euro, you can really kind of trade the euro anytime, like London session, New York session. The USD pairs, you want to trade those during New York session, which is in the morning, like 7 a.m. Eastern, so about 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Eastern. You basically want to trade that currency around the time that the banks are open in that economy. That's good. So, all right, if I want to trade the New Zealand dollar, then I have to be aware of when the money is flowing in that economy. Let me know if I'm making some sense to y'all. Let me know if I'm making some sense before I continue on. All right, cool. Appreciate you. All right, so yeah, because I know there are some people that said they had questions along the lines of what pair should I trade around what time. So I hope that was able to kind of clear it up. Any USD pair you want to trade at or around New York session or the overlap of London into New York session. So that early morning, 6 a.m. to like 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time is good for like USD pairs, especially pairs that have USD on the beginning of it. And we talked about GBP pairs. You want to do that in the nighttime, like that 2 a.m. Eastern, so about like 6 a.m. Eastern, like GBP USD, GBP JPY, and stuff like that. For those that work full time, you might work like a 9 to 5, whatever that might look like, and you're trying to get your trading in when you get off. You might begin to look at like NZD pairs, odd pairs, etc. All right, and I think so we took a look at that. So right now we kind of just waiting. Yeah, right now we're kind of just waiting to see what's taking place. The market just opened not too long ago, so it's kind of like gambling. We gotta wait for them to show their hand, and that perspective is going to change a lot of lives on this call. So that's how I look for Forex. But if I'm ready to trade some binary, then it's a little different. It's a little different. First of all, I know there's a lot of people on this call that different expiration times. So before I continue on, drop what expiration time is your go-to, so I know what what I'll speak to right now. All right. So let me know what your go-to expiration time is, so I know what to speak to. Okay, 30 second, 15 seconds to 1 minute. Pick one, boo. 30, 30. Okay, so most people saying at or around 30. Okay, 15 if you had to pick. Okay, thank you. All right. So I'm looking at the S15 chart, and that's if I was gonna do some 15-second trades. But regardless of whatever, we would at least bust it down to the 1 minute. Excuse me. And let's put some regular candles on there for a second. So it's a little less to look at when it is time to trade binary, especially with a lot of the pairs that are OTC, or a lot of the pairs that are stocks or whatever the case may be. Let me kind of speak a little more to a lot of the cheat codes that we have right here that can kind of help you save some time, if you will, as far as what you're looking at. So we remember all the indicators. Our purple line is at 200. The 200 is a bank level that normally plays as a strong level of moving support and resistance, and the same thing with the 50. So the 50 is that aqua line right there. So just taking a look at Facebook, like I don't really have to scroll back out that far at all. Somebody said, hey, listen, how far back do I have to scroll to be able to identify what I'm looking at? I don't have to scroll back that far at all, right? I see that they for real been kind of just consolidating and just flopping around, momentum up, momentum down, momentum up, momentum down. We know from a binary standpoint, shit, that don't even matter, right? It don't even matter. We just have to be clear on where we are right now. So where we are right now, from a regular candle standpoint, take a look at how price is playing. Like, take a look at the candles after this engulfing candle right here formed right on the 200 area, right on the 200 area. And if you remember from the master class, when the fractal get to pointing up, then we're looking for a reversal going the opposite way. Right, then we're looking for a reversal going the opposite way. Right, so let's kind of go a little more in detail, Because some people are like, okay, I get that, but where exactly would I have gotten in? You know, some people are looking at the current candle right now, like, I feel you, but if I had took a trade, I probably would have just lost. And you're more than likely right. Because again, we got to remember the price reversal zone aspect, right? So once you understand the price reversal zone aspect, then we're just trading from zone to zone. All right, so let me kind of help you understand what I mean and why I put these lines right here. And then if folks want to unmute and stuff like that, we can do that. All right. It's like, as much as you will want to sell this right now, I definitely have to pass over a little more of a conservative situation. I know that's going to kind of help some of the people in here grow their belief system as it pertains to seeing more wins and stuff like that. I will wait for a clean break of this first line that I have right here. Why did I put this line right here? Put this line right here because if I scroll in the back, and it might be a little harder to see, but just bear with it. I see that, you know, we had an engulfing candle right here. It was really slight, but there was an engulfing candle right there. And, you know, price played as resistance. So a ceiling on that line. And if I go back, I'll see that it continues to play as a ceiling. And in certain situations, it played as a floor as well. So I know that's a strong area, right? And let's talk about the retest part. Sometimes you might not get the whole retest, especially from the binary standpoint. Sometimes it might come close to the line and continue on, right? Like, for example, you may have decided, okay, I'm going to enter not on this candle, but this last candle, because you saw that price broke through that price reversal zone area. We were clearly up below everything, below the 50 moving average, below the 200. So we are clearly in seller's territory, right? So you probably would have went ahead and took that sell right there. If I was on the Hakinashi candles, which is why we use that for binary, but I wanted to show y'all the power of the engulfing candlestick real quick. From the Hakinashi candle standpoint, we probably would have entered right here. As soon as we saw that flat bottom, that flat top red, strong candle, you could have took a 15-second, 30-second position right there, 1 minute position right there, and you would have been in the money. Somebody about to say something? It's cool. Just let me know. Okay, so I was talking to Nina about this the other day. Yeah, I might have seen it in that video or whatever, but you'll notice, like, if you follow the signal line, it kind of plays as support and resistance as well. So, like, if you ever aren't sure, like if everything is lining up and you're not sure if you want to get in, like, say, like, you just pull this up and you're like, should I get in right now? I just got to look at the signal line. The signal line is rounding out as if it's creating a certain level of support. The MACD bricks are turning green, and it's rounding out as if they're going to go ahead and cross on the upside very, very shortly. And they just threw a fractal down there and helping us understand, okay, this is a little key level like we talked about, right? So maybe we're not selling that right now. Maybe we get the whole retest that we talked about to 350.72. Or you might get the whole retest back to the 50 line, right? So keep that in mind. You're either going to get a retest back to the previous level of structure or a complete retest back to the 50 moving average. And the 50 moving average is always going to act as your equilibrium, right? So if I'm ever lost in the sauce, I just need to make sure that my entry is as close to the 50. So I've said a lot, and then one may say, okay, bro, so where do you enter, right? From a very simple standpoint, I would go ahead and wait for this to act like it's going to break up, because it's not going to break up all the way. it's not going to break up all the way based on this weak MACD brick right here, right? I think that is going to be a couple little small bricks to the top side. They might come and kiss this blue line, or they might, you know, we might get a touchback to 35075, and we're probably going to sell off again. All right. So I want you to use everything in conjunction. I'm also understanding that the ADX is pointing down, so it's supposed to be pointing up for momentum, right? So what does that mean? The buyers off bucks have already lost momentum, and there's only 2 candles in for the buyers, and that's how you have to think about it, right? So taking a look now, 4 seconds on this candle. Let's see what's good. Okay. And that's why I often say sometimes you just got to pull this joint up and just watch. And that's why you really have to fall in love with the art. I want to get people out of the habit of like just trying to do like a quick little trade or whatever the case may be, and just fall in love with the art. As you fall in love with the art, you won't feel like you got to take quick little trades. You will only take what's available, right? You'll only take what's available. So I think that they're going to stay true to this zone right here. And once this kind of rounds back out, y'all could probably start looking for some sales on that Facebook right there. Again, of course, all the coordinates need to line up 20% above for your red and white line right here. And we need to be crossing down on the MACD. But that's how you can look at it before everything takes place. Because if I come back like right here where my mouse is right here, I'm like, okay, I know exactly what that was supposed to look like from a price action standpoint. And now we see some more red candles coming in there, right? Now we see the red line coming up. Excuse me. The white line is probably going to bump up at or around this area right here where I have my mouse at on the next candle or the candle after. Yeah, you can already begin to see the signal line rounding back out. So I can't make it up. I can't make it up. You know what I'm saying? I would rather do this than tell you to sell any day, because it helps you understand why you didn't, or why, you know, yeah, you could have sold that, but not at that particular moment. All right. So it's like, and we've been looking at this for the last 5 minutes, and you can see the price action right here. So all I have to do is be patient. I would put a star on that joint and then start looking at some other stuff. Right. And this is something good to look at. So silver is looking good so far as close to the 50. Big things that we have to remember is if I got it on the Hakanashi candles, which I do, I got a doji right here. It's not flat, nothing. They don't know if they're going to close green, they're going to close red, they don't know what they're going to do. So what do? I sit on my hands. Right? I sit on my hands. Sometimes you might get the complete retest back up to the 200. Right? And that's looking like what it's giving right here. So let's see if there are any questions. Yeah, exactly. And that's the most annoying part about it, that it can take like an hour just watching and waiting for like an amazing setup. But it's well worth it though. You know, it is well worth it. So this probably wouldn't be something bad to take a look at what the regular candle's talking about. Another waiting game, you would kind of just have to wait and see what that looks like. If we're going to close below this 200, which is that purple line. And like we kind of talked about with the signal line for the MACD, the signal line is telling me exactly what's good with the candlesticks. Like look at the signal line in real time. Telling me it's consolidation, so I'm not even really about to play around with it. But if I want, I can go ahead and star that with hopes of thinking, okay, I think we're going to sell if we can break below this 261129 area. I need everything above for the ADX. I need that to be a little bigger. So I'll just keep the party going, you know? And we marked this up. We thought we were going to get this to the downside. We didn't. So now what do I think we're going to get? We're going to get a clean break above right here. It's going to come kiss something like this 351.40, and probably head on up from there. Again, if there's enough momentum. So that's why everything gotta play together, like be one and the same. We'll take a look at some questions that we had in here to make sure that y'all is good. All right. Let's see. Okay, so we talked about the certain times of day. Okay, and we talked about how you understand when the run is over, if you will, as far as how I know I can continue selling or not. And that's as simple as what we talked about with the Hakinashi. I know from a selling standpoint, as long as the candles are opening flat top red and they're opening strong and not small, like right here, I know I can continue to sell as long as everything else lines up. As long as we're still headed down, the momentum is still correct. But once I start to see the signal line rounding out, once I start to see the MACD thingy change in colors, if you're on a computer, once I start to see smaller red candles and then the red candles actually stop coming into play, then I'm no longer looking for sells on that pair. I am regrouping now and identifying, okay, are they coming back to retest a particular area of structure? Are we in consolidation right now? Should we revisit? Whatever that looks like. All right. Okay, and we talked about how far back do you look for the trend? Trading with the trend. How do I know if the trend is still going in that direction? Well, from the Forex standpoint, just utilize the 200, right? Just utilize the 200 and the 50. Price below the 200 and the 50, I'm overall selling. And anything else outside of that is short term. Price above the 200 and the 50, then I'm overall buying. Anything outside of that is short term sales. All right. Do you have any questions in particular? Did y'all get some value from this? Does this make sense at all? Are y'all awake?
Appreciate the value, King.
Absolutely. Okay. So with Forex, we're really waiting for real. I'll let you know if anything comes available in the chat. I'll probably stay on for a second and see if we can find anything from a binary standpoint collectively. Yeah, but we gotta wait though. It's 8:30 my time. Yeah, I think some of this stuff will develop later on tonight. Oh yeah, and with the 15 seconds, it's only for the stocks. I know some people were trying to figure out why it wasn't showing up on the other currencies, on the other currency pairs. It will only show up for the stocks. And you want to be able to just swift through this joint. Like I know, okay, we can come back and look at this when they come back to this 236.56 area. Outside of that, can't do nothing with it. Consolidation, can't do nothing with it. Yeah. Yeah, I can't really do nothing with this. These would be interesting when when price is playing in between the 200 and the 50 and the Bollinger Band. I don't know what your boy Walt Disney got going on right now. I can't even stamp that. Yeah, Facebook will look good once we can get some bigger histogram candles. Ain't nothing going on right now though. And let's talk about that. Sometimes we have to release like the fact that like it can be frustrating when there aren't any setups right now. You know, not trading is trading. And I remember dudes used to say that. I used to be like, shut up. Talking about something, not trading is trading. But for real though, I know for a fact you can get more value just being on here, just looking, just saying like, okay, you know, I didn't take this buy because I can't buy, right? I can't buy into resistance. That got to get broken. That got to get broken out, retested or something. We have to have a little more momentum. We got to have some things pointing up. And once you can operate from that place, and of course your risk tolerance is correct, we're not talking about anything. You know, it's just as simple as you identifying what your income goal is, and how many trades that looks like per day or per week, because you do not, I repeat, you do not have to trade every single day. I actually recommend that you don't. Yeah, I definitely recommend that you don't. All right. Okay, so yeah, HP, I'm not really doing nothing with this yet. I personally think that a fractal will form and they'll head on down. You can kind of see we're kind of beginning to round out right there. And I'm not looking at this because, again, we know it got to be 70% or better. And what do we say about silver? And I can be very honest that like sometimes going through a lot of the pairs, you can easily miss a move on a pair, which is why I gave you guys like, okay, I know if I'm looking at some stuff, you know, I'm probably going to look at like 3 to 5 pairs and then just have them all on the top and just kind of toggle through them. So silver's kind of in a little consolidation right here as far as this box. They're probably going to come back up to that blue line right there and continue on if there's a play there. No play here. Consolidation. It's as simple as if the white line pointing down and all that, and we have nothing going on right here, we're in consolidation. Let's not even play with our emotions like that. Yeah, let's not play with our emotions like that. Understanding that the only thing we have control over in this world is our mind, and understanding that the market makers want us to lose our mind, right? So they can kind of get us out of this particular space. I got to do what serves me. So sometimes looking at this shit all day not gonna serve you. Sometimes you got to get on this joint real quick. Okay, I see some stuff that's setting up. Let me go live my life real quick. Let me go grab a drink. Let me go, you know, do whatever gets me fired up and revisit. But a lot of people don't do the revisit part and then be like, I missed the move, etc., etc., etc. All right. And the last thing that I'll say is when you're looking at the regular pairs, if they don't have the OTC, then it should line up exactly the way that it does in TradingView. So I know we were looking at USD JPY. Let me see how big of a time frame they're gonna let me look at. You'll notice sometimes when you try to go to a higher time frame on pocket option, especially on Sunday, you'll see like this random little line right here, basically showing how the market was closed for this pair. Yeah. So that's what that represents. But sometimes I don't really look at the higher time frames of pocket option. It can be kind of funky a little bit. But let me just get to the most important part. The most important part is when it doesn't say OTC, the price should match exactly. So what's the price right now? 110134. And let's take a look at trading view, make sure that that's matching. 110133. Okay, so they're off by a pipette, right? So what does that mean? That means that if I'm looking at USD JPY right here, right, that means that the markup that we got right here is valid for what we got right here. So what's the markup right here? The markup is we're simply waiting for a break and retest of this area right here, and we will potentially head on up. So that simply means that you can kind of on your pocket option begin to start looking for price to revisit anywhere between 110287 and 110 area, right? You can kind of look forward to revisit those areas and potentially look for buys, right? So that's the cool thing. You know, you might say, all right, I'm a binary trader, but I'm going to take what I learned today on how to mark up the charts on TradingView, and I'm going to go ahead and select, you know, a couple of my go-to currency pairs that are going to show up regular and not show up as OTC. And I'm just going to make sure that what I got going on right here matches what I got going on right here. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm entertaining all questions, y'all. You are more than welcome. If there is any question, there's no question that is dumb. I know it's a lot of people that hit me up on the side, and I really want y'all to hit me up in the group so people can say, all right, bet, well, I had that question too. I'm glad that you asked it so I don't feel away or anything like that. And I can get my question answered in the same exact group. The join is for support. You feel me? So I want everything to kind of take place in that group. Not like I'm not entertaining outside DMs or anything like that, but I just want to make sure that everybody is getting what y'all need to get. You know, somebody might ask a question that relates to something that could change your situation, and I want to make sure that's happening for everybody in the group. All right. But yeah, just remember that the 15 second is only for the stocks. As much as I like crypto, I never really look at it for pocket option because the risk to reward isn't there. 40% is ridiculous. You can't do anything with that, right? So 70% or better. Let me charge up real quick. Thank you.
Hey King, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. I just had a quick question.
What's up?
So, with me trading, because mainly I only trade stocks. I don't trade. I mean, I trade commodities too, but I mainly trade stocks specifically. What my main problem is that I have a problem with basically following the trend. Like I want to make sure that it's still going in that particular, like if it's going up in an uptrend, of course I would rather still continue with the uptrend versus, you know, wanting to look for a counter trade and then I end up getting spiked out because that wasn't the correct move. And I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, we're supposed to look at the indicators, but then sometimes it's like I would immediately see a doji candle and I want to like put in for a quick sale, but of course that wasn't the correct move at that time. So basically my question is, how do you basically follow the trend? Not how to, but how, just properly making sure you're following the trend and not counter trend.
Okay. So I'm on a 1 minute Alcoa Inc. I'll give you some regular candlesticks real quick and I will zoom out. So if I'm taking a look at this, off the right here, I know we are in an overall uptrend. I also know that we have a double top right here. And don't be afraid to use the indicators. You know, like I know in the masterclass, B talked about how we came to the realization which allowed us to do a lot more naked trading, only really using the MACD, etc. But I got these lines on here for a reason, for a training wheel standpoint until you can see it with your naked eye, right? So, all right. I know overall with the 200, which is the purple line, heading up, and then across of the 250 towards the upside, and also the median line of the Bollinger Band headed up, which is really basically a 20-period moving average, to put it very simple. I understand, okay, overall we are heading up right now. And if it's going to be a complete trend change, then we have to take out the last low, right? We had to take out the last low. So if I'm looking at this, I'm saying, okay, here's what can happen. I'm not looking for buys because I'm not buying at the resistance, remember? So I'm not looking for buys yet. I'm looking for price to come back and retest one of three areas. I want them to come back and retest the last level of structure. And sometimes the last level of structure will line up with the 50. And in this situation, it kind of does. I want them to come back and retest that last level of structure, the 50-period moving average, or that 200. Right? If I'm ever lost in the soft, I just got to see where's the 50 at, where's the 200 at. Right? So if they come back and kiss this area with the 200 and everything is still pointing up, then I will be looking for price reversal patterns to continue to go up. Right. And then, looking for everything to play out from the stance of course, the ADX going up, blah, 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 blah. All the stuff that you guys already know. Right. So that's really it. The 250 is there to be your moving bank guide. Right. That's the go-to joint that the banks use. That's your moving bank guide. And then you can kind of use the fractals to be able to help you out to identify where those areas of support and resistance are. I got 3 fractals on the top. Actually 4 fractals on the top. And then look at the price action on the top. Is Wicks coming up there trying to get through there, and it can't. Like people talk about exhaustion in the market, but think about exhaustion in real life. Like I'm trying to reach the top and I can't. So we literally see that right here. So I wouldn't be buying unless I want to give myself anxiety and patience and all that. Then I'm not buying anything. I gotta wait for my confirmations. So this might be something that I put a star on, and then I might come back every 1, 3, 5 minutes to see, okay, what area is price coming to retest? Is price coming to retest the last level of the structure? They coming to retest the 50 and continue to move forward? Are they breaking below the 50 and coming to retest the 200 and then moving forward? Are they breaking all of that and I get a retest and we complete in a complete downtrend? Those are the questions that I have to ask myself. But overall, to put it very simple, the 250 tells me that we are in an overall uptrend, but the price action and the indicators tell me that we are about to head down. How long are we heading down? Who knows? But we are probably going to head down to one of those 3 areas. So you want to keep that in mind. I personally think looking at this right here is going to come down and kiss that 40.212, right? And kind of give you, some consolidation right there. And then they go head on that, right? So that's really it. Another example from a stock standpoint. It's all the same. All this shit is the same. Stocks. For another example from a stock standpoint, though. All right. Job like consolidation. That's fine. They were heading down for a sec. Right now they want to head up, but it's some key areas they got to get broken in order to really stamp it. All right. And again, with the key areas like market support and resistance, just remind yourself the lines don't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect as far as you like trying to match it up with wicks and bodies and stuff like that. I took 18 months to figure out support and resistance. because everybody teaches it a different way. And that's why I got excited about support and resistance in line with price reversal zones. Because really, in a perfect world, I'd be drawing out the actual box in the zone for you. But for the sake of time, I'm just putting the lines on here. And like how you saw me do it on TradingView, where I would draw out the break and retest aspect and tell you, hey, listen, it's probably going to come at or around somewhere in this area where these lines are. That's where the price reversal zones come into play. So right now, if I was looking at this, this actually wouldn't be bad at all once we get this green line to point up. And the green line would more than likely point up after we get through this line right here. And then we will probably continue up for a buy until the next reversal zone, right? Engulfing candlestick. And we also had a fractal telling us that was an important area as well. So just because we talked the same talk on here with 4-hour daily, etc., doesn't mean we don't talk the same talk on here with 1 minute, S30, S15, etc. Once you understand the power of the candlesticks, the time frame is going to be irrelevant, right? So, and you can tell that I'm not capping. Like, I don't just be on here capping. Like, I be really be watching this, because this is gonna break through this line. This is gonna round out, and it's gonna act like they're about to sell off, and more than likely come back to this area right here, 9 times out of 10. You could have waited for that, or you could have said, hey, listen, let me go ahead and drop my joint 15 or 30, or whatever that looks like for you. And you could have taken that buy on this candle. But you see why I didn't. You hear me? You see exactly why I didn't. Because that thing is going to round up. And if we're buying, then we're probably at least going to come back to this line right here. So it's just being mindful of all the moving averages, being mindful of, the different reversal zones as far as the candles are concerned. And also, I don't really talk about this a lot, but being mindful of the Bollinger Band. I have it kind of grayed out because sometimes with the lines, it's like it can be too many lines or whatever, but you'll notice that, the Bollinger Band is like a moving support and resistance. So if I scroll all the way in and price has completely broken out of the Bollinger Band, what are they going to want to do? They're going to want to come back to the equilibrium, at least, right? They're going to want to come back to the equilibrium. So we sit there and watch this for a second. 3, 2, 1. Let's see. And that's why you just got to watch, because we might get they might go straight there, but I don't think so. I think this is going to round out. That's why this one kind of opened dumb right here. And if I move this back to Hakanashi, and that's why sometimes Hakanashi is cool, but you got to know what you're looking at. But this is a good teaching moment. So for somebody that says, how do I know when to stop buying, for example? Like, say, for example, you took buys right here, boom, took buys right here. You probably would stop like right here when you notice that the candles are getting smaller, and they're not really giving as much oomph. And you're noticing that there are wicks on both sides. So this candle closed, not necessarily doji, but wicks on both sides, right? So we're more than likely going to get that coming down, and we will get the cross probably on the candle after this one. All right, and I've been doing a lot of 15 seconds, so I know my settings are a little different. On the masterclass, I have everything as standard 14, but I've been testing this 5, 13, 5. I also been testing this 5 as well with the ADX, with the 15 second. It's been working very well from a stance of understanding what the most important moving average was, and it's the 5. It's the 5. It's the 5-period moving average, whether it's simple or exponential. All right, so Yeah, yeah. So Nina, I know I just kind of rambled out, but did that help you out at all?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Absolutely. Cool. We got any questions? Anybody got any questions? Everybody good? Does everybody understand like how I look at the market? Is there anything we want to talk about in particular? Speak now or speak now.
Yeah, okay, what's good, bro?
Yo.
All right, so one of the things that I've been noticing, um, especially with the time zones, I see that the time zones are different. So what I have been working on is usually I like to trade between like the hours of like 5 and 7 because it's not so glitchy. Especially like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays. I've been noticing that the markets like they move like kind of slower than they usually do. Especially like during like the morning time, they be moving. Like I see more of the glitching happening during the morning than in the evening time. I'm on the Eastern time, so um, I noticed that they move a lot differently. Is that have you been noticing that too, or is it just like um, is it kind of like the same for you on the computer?
Um, just to speak to the glitching in general, sometimes you just have to log out and log back in. Um, it sounds like bad, but it's like the broker's not for us, you know. So like sometimes I've noticed that if if I'm on the charts too long per se, then you get to start seeing random stuff take place. Especially if I'm on the phone, I got to remember that these people are playing against me, and especially if I'm looking at something that might say OTC, where it's as simple as the market maker said, I want to trade that, so let me go ahead and make these prices for y'all real quick so I can trade. Um, so that's a lot of the things that I kind of keep in mind. If the market is really ever glitching too hard, I'll just log out real quick and log back in. The times that you mentioned are good times to trade though, because is that 5 a.m. to 7 a.m.?
No, no, it's 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. is usually the times that I like I'll just like on my phone I'll just log in real quick and then like I'll see a quick move and then I'll take that trade and then I'm good. And then like other times, in the morning time, like all right, let me look at it and then like I'll as soon as I go to place a trade, it'll go in like the opposite direction. And I'm like, are you serious? And then it'll come up to my entry and like I'll have maybe 4 or 5 seconds left and it'll just flatline right below my trade. And then as soon as the trade is over, it'll shoot right back up. And I'm like, I know that they see that. I know the brokers are doing that.
And you said that's in the morning or in the evening?
Yeah, that it happens more so in the morning than it does the evening.
Hmm, that's interesting. To speak to the evening makes sense from the new day standpoint. Like,
Yeah, I'll have to. I'm gonna record it the next time it happens, because it's usually on my computer. I see it more on my computer more than I do on my phone. But I'll have to. What I'll do is I'll record it, and then when I do catch it, I'll send it to the chat so that way y'all can see what I'm talking about.
okay, okay. Because what I was gonna say, as far as a new day standpoint, normally like 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., you might experience that because the spreads are going high and low because it's technically a new day per se. Let me think about 5 a.m. though. 5 a.m. is when the overlap is kind of taking place. You're speaking more to like the London, New York overlap. I would have to see like the pairs you're trading, etc. Because you might just be dealing with pairs that don't have enough volatility, if you will, at that particular time, which the lack of volatility and the lack of a broker on my side could easily have a pair flatline at a particular price and then shoot, flatline, and then shoot. So I would have had to see more of that. I think
I don't know. Maybe soccer. There is a lady in Walgreens. I never would have guessed she was this old. She's like
absolutely not. All right. Okay. What
Yeah, I got the gist of what you were saying, bro. So yeah, but I'm definitely gonna I'm gonna retest it just to see like what I see, and then I'll make sure that I record it. But also, are these charts on a different time frame as well? Or
what you're looking at right now is the 1 minute. So the M1.
you said what am I looking at again?
The 1 minute.
No, I'm talking about like the actual like time frame, because some like when I'm on my iPad and if you like it has that little cursor or whatever, I'm looking at different like at the bottom it shows me the time like of that specific chart. So like just okay, if you was looking at like MetaTrader 4, it'll show you the time or depending on what what time frame you're on, at the bottom of the chart it'll show you like okay, it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. See at the bottom right here, see where it says like 2:45? What time frame is that?
Oh, okay. You mean okay? So on my computer, it's saying the GMT 2.
Okay, so you're on GMT. Okay, is there any way to change that? Can we change that time frame or no?
I think so. I never looked to change it. That is a very good question. It hasn't really been relevant to me to change. But nah, I've never looked into that to change it. What'd you say about the time?
I was saying the GMT, but never mind because of the +2. I was just saying that the GMT is like Arizona time, like no, it's just like the natural time. But never mind because I see the +2, so never mind.
Yeah, I'll look into that for you, fam. As far as the time, but I've never really looked into that too deep. When at least from a pocket option standpoint, for me, as long as like for example, here's why I never really looked into it. As long as I can look at a regular pair that is no OTC, meaning that the price point should be correct when I go look at it on TradingView, 110128, and I do that with USD JPY, and it's correct. I'm off by like a pipette or two. So that's more important as far as my timetable, what I got going on right here.
Okay, that makes sense, because I usually don't trade too many like pairs. I just do like gold. I do the gold, oil. Sometimes Boeing. Boeing is a really good one, but I noticed that it's not available during certain times of the day. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Because some of these pairs disappear during certain times of the day, like you're not able to trade it.
Right, because for the simple fact of the OTC aspect.
Yeah, because of the OTC aspect. Okay, yeah, so okay, yeah, that's something that I definitely want to look into. So I'm gonna see what these time changes are like, so that way, I can make a better observation.
No doubt. No doubt.
But yeah, that was my only question, bro. That's all I had.
No, I appreciate you, man. But yeah, as far as the OTC is concerned, that's the thing. Over the counter, they real live just made these prices and they could take these prices. So that's why you want to make sure that you're adaptable. That's why I say, hey, listen, I got like my go-to stocks. Facebook, Apple. You see Apple not on there right now for whatever reason. Commodities, silver and gold. And if those aren't shaking at all, then I would just go to the go-tos, Euro USD, USD JPY, and maybe some of these rub pairs. So the Euro USD not showing up. And if it is, it's probably not paying enough. Yes, not paying enough. Yes, I really wouldn't be looking at too much for USD JPY. Yeah, so I've had a good time. This was recorded. Folks will be able to kind of come back and take a look at this recording and vibe out. As much as I wanted to take some live trades, I'm not the one to press anything. Let's see how this closes. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. You're gonna sit on your hands. And that's why you can't be pressed to force nothing. As much as I want to get y'all in the trade, I can't really force nothing. I can't play with folks' money. But make it a point to go back over this video. Make it a point to do what we talked about at the beginning, as far as identifying some engulfing candlesticks on your chart, and just identifying what your flow is and what that looks like. So I definitely hope that I was able to transfer my energy, to transfer my flow, and you can do exactly that. Okay. So let's take a look here. Okay, looks like we got everybody. So I think I'm all set. What I'm gonna do is, as stuff starts to formulate from a Forex standpoint, I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know in the chat. Yeah, and I'm gonna see y'all at the bank.